Hey, Karess.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How are you guys?
Really good, thanks.
Okay, well, we got a lot to talk about.
I know. I got a lot to say.
Finally a new CD.
Right?
I keep hearing over and over, it's been 10 years since we've had a new CD from Matchbox 20.
No. 10 years?
Well, that's what people are saying.
I'm just kidding.
For me, I've been a fan of the band since the very beginning, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long. In fact, about 4 years ago, we saw you in Omaha touring with Alanis Morissette behind the success of Exile on Mainstream. And I've followed you doing your solo projects, and it seems like the band hasn't been away that long. And through it all, I've had a lot of anticipation about this new CD, and I'm liking what I'm hearing about the new CD North.
Thanks. Yeah, we're really excited about it.
Well, I mean, it's true, yeah, because we did the Exile thing, and, it really wasn't 10 years, I mean, it's just, for that many songs in a row, it has been. I mean, we're really excited to finally, get this group of songs we've been working on for 2 years, trying to pull these, tracks together out there.
It's torture for someone like me when I hear She's So Mean and I don't have a full album to sit down and listen to.
Yeah.
With Matchbox 20, you get the album, you listen to the whole thing because every song is a gem on there, whether you hear it on the radio or not. And it's torture to hear just one song.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. Thank you.
I mean, there's a lot of different flavors on the album as well. So, it's that one's, intentionally had sort of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of, we wanted some levity there and, this kind of quirky character that, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different, I mean, there's a lot of flavors that represent, I think what people come to know.
I think, having
the Matchbox 20 over the years.
Having the single out, we feel kind of the same way. Like, when you have the single out now, it's been out for a little while, and we're just really excited about the record to come out so people can kind of see, everything that we've been spending our time on, over the last couple of years and what we finally came up with as opposed to just the one song kind of representing this whole moment in our life right now. Well,
I think it's interesting, too, is you have several songwriters in the band. I mean, everyone put in on this album.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I think we've utilized it in a way and better than we've ever done before, and I think because of that, it's it means that we can be around almost 17 years later and kind of still coming at it from a different direction. You know what I mean? And still trying to keep it fresh within ourselves so that we're not tired of it either.
No, I would say we've changed up a lot of things too. There's a couple first happened on this record. I sang some lead on this album.
Really?
Which hadn't happened since the first album. Yeah, so, I feel like, even just the, not only just the songwriting, but, the vocal texture changing a little bit and keeping people guessing is kind of nice sometimes.
Now, on this album, is Paul behind the drums, or did he come back and...
Well, when we're live, Paul's still going to be on the guitar, but on the record, Paul played drums on everything.
Okay, because I know for a while he kind of switched it up a little bit.
No, he's still the guitar player, but it was really nice to have him on drums because, quite frankly, he's one of my favorite drummers that I've ever played with, and he has a signature style, and you hear it on this record. There's a lot of just really great, really well thought out drum parts as opposed to just kind of utility, keeping the beat kind of a thing.
And I have to say, you guys have been really busy, even though you haven't been, on the road together as a full unit for a couple of years. It's not like you were just, sitting at home relaxing. You guys have been, Rob, you did your solo stuff. And Kyle, I read that you worked with one of my favorite artists, John Waite.
Yeah, man, and that was huge, because, I mean, missing you was it's just like a part of, my childhood fabric.
I mean, the Babies to me is,
Yeah, of course, the Babies. I mean, I'm back on my feet again and all that. Yeah, so that was great. His voice still sounds fantastic. It was cool too because he was dating Alison Krauss at the time, and she comes by the studio and just kind of hanging out. And so yeah, it was great. We did a quick tour of Europe together, and he's become a good friend. And so I feel like everybody's kind of developing their skill set outside of Matchbox 20. And
everybody's saying talks about his hiatus, and me and Kyle dude, I haven't been on a hiatus since I was 21 years old. I don't know what that means.
I still wake up every morning thinking about music and writing songs with people or for people or
Well, and I know you've been in Nashville for a while, Kyle, kind of working for other artists. Have you really enjoyed that time away from Matchbox 20?
I have because. Part of if you trace it back to, the songwriting, if you take songwriting, for example, for a second, and you trace it back to the first record, Rob was the primary songwriter, and he had the best material. And I think we had other members of the band who had the ability to become better songwriters. They were just hadn't quite developed yet. So for me, Nashville was a great way to begin to focus on becoming a better lyricist and thinking about just the song, not being some virtuoso guitar player or what the most busy musical part was or whatever. And so it's been great for me as a songwriter to be in a town where people sit down and think about simplistic ideas and really connecting with on a common level, on an accessible level with people with a song. And I think that's helped me, bring songs to the table this time around that have, have more value.
So with so many songwriters in the band now, how many songs did you go into the studio with?
About 60 by the time we were done.
Yeah,
wow.
And so not all of them were completed. A lot of them were just sort of fragment ideas that really sounded like the shell of a song that needed to be fleshed out. But yeah, at least that many.
Yeah, but we did it over a long period of time. Like, we had kind of a little space that we haven't had in a while, which was nobody was expecting anything from us yet, so we could take as long as we wanted to kind of get the build up. So we would spend a week in Paul's studio in L.A., and then we'd take a month off and then get together for another week in Nashville, another week in New York, kind of at each one of our houses and our studios. And we would after that, we had like 60 kind of shells of ideas. Then we went to Nashville and spent the summer in this kind of cabin studios thing. And that was where we started to kind of had to put the kill switch on certain songs and figure out, like, what would maybe the 20 songs that we were going to actually bring into the studio and start recording. And we didn't start recording, like, once we started recording, it was actually really quick. I mean, we got in the studio at the beginning of this year, and we were done in a couple of months because we had already done so much pre-production.
I don't know about quick.
Well, a couple of months. I mean, it's pretty quick. Considering that
for Rob, that's quick.
Considering we spent a year, building up to it. Like, once we got in, it was like all the groundwork had been laid, so we just kind of had to go in and record the songs as opposed to spending a whole lot of time writing songs and all that stuff.
Right. But I would say overall, this has been the longest we've ever taken on the entire process. But I think it was necessary because we've been away, and let's face it, we're not getting any younger, so this record needs to be awesome.
So, can you even compare this album to anything you've done in the past? I mean, it's got to be so different because you're evolved as a band.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the idea is that we don't want any record to kind of sound like our last record. And if you kind of go through everything and you hear, say, 3 a.m., and then you flash forward to Unwell or flash forward to Disease, and then, my solo stuff and Paul's solo stuff, like, it's all just kind of, hopefully everything sounded a little bit different. So this is just, like, what we hope is the best representation of kind of who we are right now and kind of, what we're into and the noise we want to make. And then the next record will be different from this.
To me, it seems like there's a little bit of, like, a British, theme to some of the sounds on this album.
A little British vibe on the album?
Yeah, exactly, and it's tough to pinpoint exactly, what that is or why that is. But to me, there's a little bit of we brought there's some synths and there's some electronic elements that sort of counter a little bit of the pop rock formulas that you would expect to hear from this band, and I think maybe that's what gives me a little bit of that feeling.
I read in a previous interview that the single, She's So Mean, isn't even the band's favorite song on the record. Is that true?
No, I mean, well, first off, it's kind of hard this early on to even have a favorite because they're all so new to us. But I don't, I mean, if someone were to say, like, what is your favorite, I don't think that I would have said She's So Mean. Like, She's So Mean to me was just the best gateway to get into the record.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair to say.
Represented a little bit of everything that's on the record.
Mm-hmm. And we're totally not the kind of guys, like, we're very, like, kind of honest with ourselves, even when we bring songs to each other. Like, I kind of like that, but I kind of like this one better. Like, but I agree with that. I think sometimes, a song has a aesthetic to it that is, even if it's just a really simple hook, to kind of bring people into an album, I don't know that I would say it's my favorite either. I wouldn't. But that doesn't mean I don't like it, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have its role in the fabric of the album.
My whole point is that it's not even your favorite, and for me, I hear it, I turn up the radio, and I'm singing along. I know all the words. So if that's not your favorite, I can only imagine what the whole CD North holds for us. You know what I mean?
We set the bar high, sister.
I'm really excited for September 4th. I can't believe it. And then hitting Australia with In Excess.
Yeah, that's going to be unbelievably exciting.
If only I could get there, because I think hitting the road with In Excess would be so much fun.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2 years for me because I got to work for several months with John, as we just mentioned, who wrote like some
crazy pop songs.
Some of those crazy songs in the '80s that we all know and love, and now we get to do a tour with In Excess, who also contributed so much to that era, you know what I mean, of pop music. So it's going to be an interesting couple of years for me.
That's like my high school, like right there, all laid out in music,
right?
you know? It's like
That's hysterical.
So you're coming back to the States and maybe doing a tour 2013 is what I'm hearing rumors of?
Yeah, I think we were talking late January. I think they're starting to put in, starting to piece the schedule together starting late January and into March, maybe April.
If you guys can squeeze a Des Moines date on there for me, that would be great.
We'll put in a good word. And we'd love to come through. Are you kidding me?
We had Rob here. We had Paul came through with the break and repair method.
That's
and
right.
we would love to have you guys show up with the whole band. You did Omaha last time with Alanis Morissette. Do you have any inklings who you might be touring with stateside for the tour?
No, we don't. There's been no discussion on stateside support yet. But it's always kind of exciting to see, in the States because there's so many options.
Oh, yeah.
So it's always kind of exciting to see who submits to want to do that, and who we end up discussing bringing. Yeah,
I get excited about even the rumor of a tour because I've seen you guys more than any other band. Seen you in Red Rocks. I've seen you in St. Louis. I've just seen you all over the States, and you're one of my favorite bands to watch live because you're so damn entertaining.
Well, thank you. Well, hopefully that anticipation will remain, because we don't really we don't tour all that often. We don't oversaturate, to use an industry term.
Your live shows are so much fun. It's worthy of a good road trip, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I always feel like we're one of those bands that the only reason you make a record is so you can go play it live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for us, like, that's a huge part of what we do, and it's something that we're really the most proud of, I think, is, who we are as a live band.
Guys, I know you got to go, but thank you so much for taking the time to call me today. The new CD, North, comes out September 4th. We've been talking with Rob Thomas and Kyle Cook from Matchbox 20. Congratulations on the CD. Cannot wait for the tour. Try to come to Des Moines if you can make it.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you so much, Karess. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Karess.
Guys.